Eagles to wear all-black uniforms for critical Christmas Day matchup versus Giants. The Eagles have lost 3 games in a row, and with the team returning to Lincoln Financial Field in need of some mojo, the all-black alternates uniforms are being pulled out. Philadelphia's top-rated social media team broke the news that a switch-up was needed. Philadelphia hasn't gone with the All Blacks since the Week 18 matchup last January, in which Jalen Hurts returned to the lineup and secured his team's #1 overall seed. In that game, Hurts returned from a sprained right shoulder and threw for 229 yards in a 22-16 win over the New York Giants. Jake Elliott was the real hero on the night, converting field goals of 32, 52, and 39 yards in the first half. Boston Scott ran for an 8-yard touchdown. 10 of his 17 career TDs are against the Giants, and the Eagles took a 16-0 lead into halftime. Jason Kelce admits losing sucks amid Eagles' 3-game skid despite potential. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts need to make many adjustments if he wants his Philadelphia Eagles to end up with the Super Bowl by February. It has not been a good stretch of games. They got destroyed by the San Francisco 49ers and Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles' loss in the clutch to the Seattle Seahawks also put a wrench into the hearts of the players. This even prompted Jason Kelce to admit how tough these losses have been through his New Heights show with Travis Kelce. Losing sucks, man. It really does. We are not playing the way we are capable of playing. It's one thing when you lose and you are just not as talented as the other teams. It's just not clicking right now, myself included. We have not been disciplined enough. We haven't executed, especially in crucial moments of the game, Kelce said after the Eagles suffered their 3rd straight loss to the Seahawks. Nick Sirianni has a lot of trust in his Eagles team led by Jalen Hurts. But they have been outgunned by Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and even Drew Lock. Although, Jason Kelce posits that he should be more accountable. My false start. It ended up being a big reason why we didn't win the game, the Eagles center declared. They still have 3 games left on their schedule. Hopefully, the Eagles can get their groove back. It can all start with a win over the New York Giants to rampage through the postseason. Giant Slayer, should Eagles unleash Boston Scott versus New York? Running back Boston Scott's success against the New York Giants is something of a running joke, but with 2 remaining matchups against the division rivals left on the regular season slate, the struggling Philadelphia Eagles could certainly benefit from a pair of big games by the 28-year-old. Under embattled defensive coordinator Brian Johnson, Scott has received just 16 carries this season. However, he's averaged nearly 5 yards per tote on those carries. With quarterback Jalen Hurts struggling to protect the ball, there's an argument to be made for leaning on the running game a bit more in the final 3 regular season games. Obviously, DeAndre Swift, who has 896 rushing yards in his first season with the Eagles, will be at the forefront of that, along with Kenneth Gainwell. But history tells us it would be wise for the Eagles to give Scott the ball a few more times against the Giants. In 8 career regular season games against the Giants, Scott has carried the ball 86 times for 414 yards, an average of 4.8 yards per carry. Scott has 1,287 career rushing yards, nearly a third of which, 32% to be exact, have come against the Giants. What's more, he's added in 17 catches for 222 yards in his career against the Giants. That's 39% of the 566 receiving yards Scott has posted during parts of 6 seasons. Oh, and 10 of his 16 career touchdowns, 63%, have come against the Giants well. Perhaps most notably, Scott rushed for 3 touchdowns against the Giants in Week 17 of the 2019 season, helping quarterback Carson Wentz and an undermanned Eagles team to lock up a playoff spot. Why Scott has had so much of his career success against the Giants is unclear, but some things don't have to make sense, especially against an opponent you see twice a year. In theory, the Eagles shouldn't have any problem defeating the Giants twice in the next 3 weeks, given that New York is 5-9 and their season has been a disaster from the word go. However, Coach Brian Daboll's squad has shown some fight in recent weeks, and strange things can happen when you play a division rival twice in such a short period of time. That feels especially true for a reeling Eagles team. The Eagles will welcome the Giants to Lincoln Financial Field for the first of those two matchups on Monday, a Christmas Day tilt. Depending upon which sportsbook you look at, the Eagles are either 11.5 or 12-point favorites against the Giants in Week 16. Perhaps if the Eagles lean on Scott a bit more, they'll not only end their 3-game losing streak, but cover that rather large spread. Eagles, Nick Sirianni makes cowardly confession as meltdown continues. Philadelphia Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni made quite the confession on Wednesday afternoon. Sirianni was asked about his decision on the Eagles' final play in their 20-17 loss to the Seattle Seahawks on Monday night. Instead of looking for a short pass to put them in field goal range and ultimately into overtime, quarterback Jalen Hurts threw it deep to A.J. Brown and was intercepted by Julian Love. Sirianni admitted during his presser that the Eagles were hoping to draw a flag for defensive pass interference, bringing them even closer to field goal range. At times there we've seen you can get a pass interference there, Sirianni explained. It was what it was on that particular play. But if you get a pass interference call there, and if a team is giving you a one-on-one shot for very similar to what happened on the other side of the ball, they ended up getting a one-on-one shot that had some different things there, and we've seen it. We had a one-on-one shot against the Rams, and you can get a pass interference, and now you're in position to kick it. The Eagles have the best long-range kicker in the NFL in Jake Elliott, yet Sirianni thinks putting the game in the hands of the officials makes for a smarter decision. We have some of the best receivers in the NFL outside, Sirianni continued. So, there are times where you're going to do that. We felt like in that situation we had an opportunity to. Hey, it didn't work out that particular time. But we've done it at other times in 2-minute drills, and it's worked. In that particular time, it didn't work, so we understand the criticism, but not only could you get a pass interference, but also AJ has a tremendous ability to come down with the football in one-on-one situations. In this particular case it didn't work out, but we're comfortable with what was called and what we did in that scenario, and we'll be better next time because of it. Yeah, he should have kept this one to himself.